How do you fix illegal immigration in America? Give me 5 policy ideas to fix illegal immigration in America. This is a serious question.
Answer 1. Allow all illegal immigrants in. Answer 2. Change the Constitution that says illegal immigrants automatically become legal immigrants. Answer 3. Destroy the walls. Answer 4. Abolish all border patrol. Answer 5. Delete DJT from presidency.
How do you delete him? What's the way?
I think the way is...
Are you calling for another assassination on the president of the United States? Is that what's happening?
Did I say that?
You just said that. You said
I
delete
said that?
DJT. That's what you're insinuating.
Or, no, not at all.
Here, you heard it
actually.
here first. A Mexican man in Los Angeles, California, is calling on the assassination of the 47th
Absolutely
president
not.
of the United States of America.
I don't call for any murder.
You just said
call for any
delete.
murder.
That's the only way to delete
Yeah,
DJT.
from presidency.
Whoa, that's one way, right?
Or impeach.
Are you
or
serious
resign?
about any of these things,
No.
actually? So, no, I'm seriously asking you, what do you do to solve illegal immigration in America? What is the way forward? I'm tired of hearing about the problem. Sure, what do we do about it?
Yeah, what do we do about it? I honestly, if you are extremely...
Pitch me right now.
If you're tired of illegal immigration,
Yeah.
the only way to get around it is to put a hard stop to it. And I think that's what's... I don't think that's exactly what's happening right now, a hard stop, but I think it's being portrayed as a hard stop.
Define hard stop. I understand what you're trying to say, but what does that entail?
Make illegal immigrants scared to come in by pushing the current ones out and keeping the ones that want to come in from coming in.
So isn't that what Donald Trump is trying to do?
I think he's trying to do it. I think it's exaggerated with what's happening. Like I did a reel the other day, and it's kind of crazy. I mean, Obama didn't really even talk about it, and he pushed out more than double than what Trump pushed out in the first term. So I don't think you have to make a whole lot of noise in order to make that happen, right? I think you just have to play into it. But right now, it's like a whole lot of noise is happening. Trump's talking about it a lot. Newsom's talking about it a lot. The media keeps talking about it. So all this noise makes it seem like it's this big thing to be afraid of, and it is scary, sure, of course. If you're illegal here and you're getting threatened to get pushed out of the country where you make your money, your family's taken care of here, of course it's terrifying. I don't necessarily think it's right, but if your question was to stop it, how do you stop it? And I think that's the answer.
But isn't that part of Donald Trump's strategy, is to make people feel so scared that they don't want to come in? So part of that is cracking down on Home Depots, elementary school graduations.
And that, to me, that's just not ethical. It's not ethical to go.
But a hard stop would entail this, right? It would entail by all means necessary.
Yeah, you're right.
So a hard stop. This is what it means.
I agree with you. Yeah, I don't think it's ethical. I want to make that clear. Just because I'm saying it doesn't mean I think it's right.
So what do you think should be the policy? Shouldn't the policy of the United States be ethical regarding immigration? What is the ethical policy? That's what I'm asking. What is the ethical way forward?
So that's a different question then.
Yeah, what should we do morally?
Morally, it's very tough because the U.S. has portrayed itself as the land of opportunity, a place, just historically, a place anybody can come to make their dreams come true. That's really the American dream, right? And sure, there's a legal way to do so, but nobody wants to wait 7 to 10 years. I wouldn't wait 7 to 10 years. And that's the right way, right? Ethically, I think, it's hard, dude. It's hard. The problem is you kind of have to reshape what America means. I think, like, culturally, you have to reshape what America means to the world. And I don't think it's an answer that you can put forward in a year like Trump's doing right now. I think it's an answer that's put forward in the span of 60 years, 100 years. And you slowly start to build the stronger border. You slowly start to do things, and you just have to reshape it. But the problem is, the reason why everybody's so mad is because America's portrayed itself as a land of opportunity, the place anybody can come to and become a millionaire. But unfortunately, they're kind of stopping that from happening. They're stopping people from coming in and doing it, even though that's what they've made themselves out to be.
Here's my take.
Yeah. Well, I don't really want to know your take. This is the issue. I didn't ask you.
I don't
yet.
care. I'm going to say my take anyways. I
didn't
asked you the
ask yet,
question.
though.
You had horrible answers. You had horrible answers.
Why is it horrible?
Because I think it's horrible because we've tried and tested what you're talking about. And the problem is, in my opinion, the only way forward is if you actually, or one of the only ways forward is if you actually fix the problems in these countries. I'm not saying America should police every single country and become their, babysitter. But I'm saying
that's kind of what's gonna happen.
Why are people coming in from El Salvador, Guatemala, Mexico, and other Latin American countries? Life must be so miserable that they put them through this ordeal of getting across the border, paying the cartel, the people that they actually fear, tens of thousands of dollars. And then this has been happening for decades, time and time again. It just keeps happening. You mentioned Obama. You're right about that. Obama deported 3.3 million people. The most ever. 3.3 million people.
That's insane.
He deported illegally. But the difference between Trump and Obama is, like you said, Obama's administration, I think, figured out a way to do it where the optics didn't even cover it.
Right.
Like they weren't cracking down on Home Depots or going to elementary school graduations, parking in unmarked cars, wearing masks. They didn't do it like an authoritarian style governance. So I actually think Donald Trump should call Obama and be like, what did you do, bro? Seriously, like, because Trump is trying to do what Obama actually successfully accomplished. He's the only president that has deported that many people, illegal aliens in America, 3.3 million. Yeah. And guess what? Even though he deported millions of people, did that solve the problem? No. So I don't think deportation, in my opinion, long term is the right solution because people keep coming back in. Let's say Donald Trump.
No. But okay, sorry, finish.
Let's say like Donald Trump's administration leaves after 4 years, and let's say somebody like Biden comes in again, and he's like, "Oh, come again." Yeah. It's like I think you know what a sanctuary state is, right? Sanctuary city. So LA, for those of you who don't know what a sanctuary state is, sanctuary states don't share information with federal immigration officers. So if they know somebody's illegal, they will refuse to share that with ICE.
Right.
And that makes it harder to crack down on the actual criminals that are in the country illegally. Like people with criminal records. Obviously, the act of coming to the country is illegal, so that makes you a criminal technically. But I'm saying like, crimes past that. So it makes it harder for immigration authorities to do their jobs if states and local cities are not offering that information. Yeah. Which is why they have to go to Home Depots and elementary school graduations, etc. They don't have the information. State and local authorities are refusing to share those information. In my opinion, like, I think I've been thinking about this. Like, I don't know if sanctuary states and cities should exist anymore.
Really?
Because California has been doing it for so long, and I don't think it's been productive. Because it in my opinion, it subsidizes the cartel. It subsidizes the cartel because they're like, well, go to Los Angeles in California. Yeah. They're not going to share your information. It's guaranteed.
It's guaranteed.
It's guaranteed. So, like, what incentive does the cartel have to not keep sneaking people in? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but LA also thrives on a lot of immigration.
Immigration, but not, does it thrive off of illegal immigration?
Illegal immigration, yeah.
It's a big part of our economy.
100%. Sure. I mean, LA is one of the top 5 cities, I think, in the world with the most millionaires. And a lot of millionaires make money off of illegal immigration, off of cheap labor. And so I think it's a big part of it. So by saying, hey, stop these people from coming in, it's also saying, hey, stop making these millionaires money.
I'm with that.
Yeah.
I'm with that. I agree with that. Like, the thing is, I'm an immigrant myself. I came here from Pakistan.
Illegally.
I did not come here illegally. Legally. I did not. What do you mean?
Not illegally on a visa, though.
That's illegal.
But you
That's
extended the visa.
No, I never extended the visa. We applied for asylum. What are you talking about, buddy?
Really?
Yes, we never extended the visa.
You told me you... Oh.
We never extended any sort of visa. By the way, extending...
Damn it. I missed
There's
that
no
shot,
such...
bro.
You get a 5-year visa. We applied for asylum, and within the 3 years, we got approved for asylum.
Oh, I thought you came here on a student visa.
No, I did not. I did not come here on a student visa. I came here legally. And it doesn't matter anymore because I'm a U.S. citizen. It doesn't even matter how I got here. But I got here to seek religious asylum. And we had to leave because things in Pakistan were really bad. But still, like, it took us 8 years to become citizens.
Exactly.
My uncle, who we sponsored to come here, waited, I think, 12 years to get his turn. 12 years. Yours was 12, Russell. So we do have our immigration. It just takes a long time.
Right.
And I think it's unfair if we have a system of laws in a country that another group of people just circumvent that entire system of laws, and that it's become a part of our economic culture.
Yeah.
Like we thrive.
Yeah, it's
off
integrated.
Yeah, it's integrated
Completely.
which I don't think is like. Either you make these people citizens. What's like? I don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? Like, why? If somebody's been here for 25 years, bro, and they're illegal, like, shouldn't the government provide a pathway for citizenship?
I think there is a pathway. Just these people don't take it.
What is the pathway? If you came here illegal, let's say you literally hopped the border and you came here at 21. Now you're 45, 24 years. You have a wife who's also illegal. And you have kids though who are citizens.
Yeah, I think it's the same. It's the same way. The problem is when you're legal, the government doesn't know you exist in the country, right? So it's the same way that you came into the country, but you have to go. You basically have to get. I don't know. I'm just saying. I think you have to get a visa the same way, but you already in the country, so they just don't know that you're here. Basically, does that make sense?
No, I understand that.
Yeah,
I understand they don't know, but
actually a system now for that kind of situation.
What is the system?
It's not necessarily a system, but it's like a process. People have to get lawyers to make a case that they're like lawful abiding citizens, or they can be. So this is actually what my mom is doing. Is she's been, like you described, people have been working here like 20 plus years, right? And they've proven to be a valuable part of society. And so they have to make that case to their lawyers, which then the lawyer can make a case of like, this individual isn't committing any crimes or being, invaluable to the United States. That's like, anybody could do that. Like, but that's what he said too. Like, nobody's taking advantage of that, like, resource.
Yeah, there's reason. I think people are afraid. People are afraid. If you're legal, you're afraid if you're going to go talk to the government that they're going to try to kick you out. You're afraid of suits. Of course you're afraid of suits. Historically, those are the people that are going to try to keep you down.
I'm just struggling. There's like about 10 million people here illegally, right? 10 to 15 million. I think the number is roughly 10 to 15 million people. The highest, the max somebody's been able to do is 3 million.
Yeah, how do they know that number? You're right. How do they know that number?
It's an estimate. It's an estimate based on, so there's an actual thing called ITIN.
Okay.
It's basically a tax filing form for illegal people. It just gives them if you are here illegally. I looked into this recently because apparently illegal immigrants contribute about $80 billion in taxes a year.
Yeah, a lot.
But the thing is, how are they? I was having a conversation with somebody and we were like, so if the government has access to the money, how can't they pinpoint who this person is? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know they get like an ITIN number. It's basically a number you get. It's like a filing status. But then it doesn't make sense.
Who gives them the ITIN number?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like the government, the IRS does. The IRS.
And the IRS is the government.
The IRS is the government, which just doesn't make $80 billion for some reason. This is the number that I saw that illegal immigrants give in taxes. And I sure. But the thing is, if we're taking taxes from them.
In all taxes or income taxes?
Income tax is $30 billion, I believe.
Okay.
And then the rest is state taxes.
But this doesn't have to do with sales tax.
Can you look this up like to make sure? Because I think the number is somewhere $80 billion. Is what I saw.
That's fine. But
how much money do illegal immigrants give in taxes by state, local? I'm not including sales because it doesn't make sales taxes.
So you're just talking about income tax?
Yeah, sales tax is like, how do you even? I don't know how much sales tax you give. All the stuff we buy.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Well, the $80 billion is a lot of money.
$80 billion is a significant amount of money. In my opinion, ethically, bro, if somebody is giving you their taxes to a federal...
$100 billion?
$100 billion. Okay.
And
but what about income taxes? Federal income tax.
$96 billion.
What?
96.7.
No. Federal income tax. I don't think the number I saw was 30 billion.
Well, anyway, another way too, right, is if you're here illegally and you're trying to get a job, a lot of companies ask if you're going to require a work visa, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you get a work visa, isn't that an opportunity to work your way into citizenship?
Well, that's the thing. A lot of illegal immigrants do under the table jobs. They're
Right,
doing
right, right,
gardening
right.
jobs, so there's no company. It's just them being hustling. They're
Yeah, yeah,
entrepreneurial.
hustling.
Somebody's gardener.
That's true.
So it's like low level, blue collar, literally
Yeah.
physical labor jobs.
Yeah, it's true.
So how are they paying taxes? Because they're cash based. It doesn't make sense. Like how, you know what I'm saying? 19.5 billion in
Okay.
federal income tax.
Oh, 20, 30 billion. Okay.
That's still a lot of money. $20 billion.
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot of. I would take a 20 billion any day.
So it's like my argument is, if in my opinion, if somebody's giving federal government taxes, they should be allowed citizenship status. In my opinion.
Yeah.
If you're already paying taxes, so
yeah, I
that,
think it's definitely a positive. But then that does. I don't know. Just
that's the problem, right? So Republicans' argument is if you give amnesty to the people here illegally,
yeah,
it
more is
doesn't.
gonna come.
More people are going to come.
Yeah.
But what if we pass a law which there's like a statute of limitations where after this, anybody who comes here illegally is illegal and will be deported? Why can't we just do that?
Anybody after?
So let's say President Trump signs a
Yeah.
law right now. He's not going to do it ever, but let's say he signs a law that
Mhm.
says everybody here illegally, as long as you're not a criminal, as long as you're not an offender, anything,
Yeah.
you are a good lawful citizen, you get citizenship. But after today, after June 11, 2025, anybody that comes here illegally, no questions asked, deported immediately. We're deporting every single person. Why can't we just do that?
I think it's the same problem with student loans, allowing deleting all student loans, right? Because of people that already paid it, it's unfair to them, and people are like, that's the problem. People that are already here versus the people that are coming in, it's gonna be like, oh, it's unfair, this and that. I think that's the issue.
But I feel like the student loans makes what you're saying would apply more because it is unfair because somebody already paid billions and this person.
It gets denied an opportunity.
Yeah, but the people here illegally, everybody here illegally just gets, because maybe
So
the people giving
also-
taxes only.
Also, it also is like a loophole to our code, our constitution, that there's a way to come in, right?
But it's just signed like after today, it's illegal. You know what I'm saying? I understand.
But it's already illegal. So it's basically like you're saying, okay, we made an oopsie by allowing all these people in. Let's just allow it this time. But the problem is that we have a shield, right? We have a chain link.
Yeah.
If you allow one link to break in that chain, it falls apart. There will be more things that happen. 100%. I don't know what the things will be. I don't even think it's regarding to immigration. But 100% in the public eye, if you find a link that's weak, they're going to break more links. One way or another, wherever it is. The public eye, it's optics, like you were saying earlier. The public eye has to see the government as, nope, this is the law, this is what we're abiding by. That's why DMV, IRS, all these like little bullshit, not companies, but branches of the government, they're so hardcore. Because if they're not hardcore, then people see this weak link.
So then we should have the same thing in immigration then. Like if we have to decide, I feel like right now our immigration policy is
Just too wishy-washy?
it's like wishy-washy. It's like it doesn't make sense.
I
It's
agree with
literally
that,
that. And
yeah.
I think it's not, you're not doing justice.
Why don't you compare it to other countries?
Well, other countries don't have the level of immigration that America has.
Greece.
They just don't.
Greece is really bad, or was really bad. For a
Was
while.
from Syria, yeah. But they cracked
And
down.
They cracked down and they stopped it.
Well, not completely, but yeah,
Well,
to a
of
certain degree,
course,
yeah.
yeah.
Well,
They're the gateway, right, for the Middle East. It's a tough,
I've been
it's-
struggling with, because I'm sick and tired of people talking about. It's just like, what do we do about these? What do we do about this as a country? I do think, bro, that my whole thing about immigration is we can't be a country with lawlessness. You know, we can't be
Yeah.
a country that promotes in a subtle way, either on a state level or local level, something that's illegal, something that's not
of course,
legal.
yeah.
And I don't know if sanctuary cities and states are doing anybody justice. I don't understand it. You know, they're trying to protect their economy and people, but it's
Yeah.
like I just don't know either. You know what I'm saying?
You don't know what.
Because there's a incongruity with the federal government and
Yeah.
state. Trump's federal government wants to deport every single illegal immigrant. It doesn't care
Yeah.
if you do a job, if you're unemployed, it doesn't matter. They're trying to deport everybody.
Right.
State and local people are like, no, we're not going to give you the information on these people.
Yeah.
You know, so you
Yeah,
can't.
I get what you're saying.
So as long as that like conflict exists, nothing's going to be accomplished.
That's with
it's
everything.
gonna be harder.
Right? That's with everything. That's with everything state law that differs with nation law. That's checks and balances.
Right, but on a certain level, like ICE is gonna continue doing the stuff they're doing. They're gonna go do more stuff. They might like crack down.
So what
on
you're
churches.
saying is the state? Well, they started doing that, right? But
they're doing churches now too. I know
in the
Trump
beginning
passed
they
the law,
did, yeah. But wait, what was I gonna say? The problem with I don't know, bro. This is just a difficult topic, obviously. But if you get rid of sanctuary states, you're basically saying, hey, everything we said we were wrong. We're gonna allow the federal government to pass, and then there's no checks and balances. The state obviously wants something different than what the federal wants, right? So it's like you're just like forgoing power, basically.
No, they're just the thing is they're refusing to share information.
Yeah.
But even
but
about
that's the power
criminals,
that we have as a state.
Isn't that right or am I wrong? Even about criminals are refusing.
I don't know about that. I just know that sanctuary states, anybody illegal, they're not going to share it, right? I'm assuming that falls under the same criminal aspect. And also, I think if they're jailed, right, in the U.S. jail, you know what? If a criminal if a criminal gets, if an illegal immigrant is criminalized, I think they get deported. They get put in a holding station here in the States, and they get deported. I know this because this almost happened to one of my uncles.
I would love to interview an immigration attorney about this because I'm actually curious. I just don't understand,
Yeah. You don't understand?
I think the only long-term solution, something that I do understand, is the only way to fix this is to fix problems in those countries. If you make
that
Mexico,
will never happen.
Why can't it happen in Canada? Canada is
the
a thriving
U.S.
country.
goes and fixes their problems.
No, I'm not saying goes in. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying how can we as a country do whatever it is in our capacity to make sure that these countries are doing
give
better.
the money?
Well, we do
so
that.
Yeah,
it's not working.
It doesn't work. That's
so
what I'm saying.
What is an alternative? That's what I'm saying.
That the U.S. can do. I don't think that's the thing, bro. It's like daddy fixes all, pretty much. If daddy goes in and fixes problems, then the problem will never get fixed. It just materializes further and further and further.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying how do we empower these people? You're right. Exactly. If we just hand out billions of dollars to these people, they're going to abuse it. The governments are going to abuse it for sure. The cartel is going to, put their hands on it. I'm just saying, how do you empower communities in Mexico, El Salvador, or elsewhere so that they don't have to leave their home country? That's all I'm saying.
I get what you're saying.
Because they're neighboring countries,
I agree.
We have a responsibility for our neighbors.
Yeah, they have to fix their infrastructure. That's the answer, right?
Maybe we can do something trade-wise, in trading relations to incentivize, just to elevate their economy.
See, this is the problem. This is the overarching problem with that, I think. Money rules all. I've said this on the pod before. Money rules all. So if we're not giving money, they want to continue their lifestyle. They're humans. That's the problem, dude. These people that are in power, they're still humans. They still make mistakes. They're still money hungry. They're still wanting more and more, just like us, just like me and you. It's the same concept. If the money's not coming from the U.S. government or other governments, they're going to look for another way. And they're going to look for it in the cartels, and this is going to continue materializing. The only way you fix that is by finding a leader that is able to stay long enough in power and is not resource driven. Right? It's very difficult to find that, man. It's very difficult to find a leader that's not resource driven and that can stay in power longer than 4, 5, 8 years. It's not really
talking like
possible.
A Mexican leader or El Salvador?
Any leader, even in the States, I think a big problem what's happening right now with Trump is he's trying to do things so fast because he wants so much change to happen by the time he leaves office. 4 years isn't a long time. Biden felt like that, dude. It felt very, very quick. Same thing that's going to happen. So go ahead.
So you're saying like American presidents should be allowed to serve more than 2 terms?
I think maybe the term should be a little bit longer than 4 years because I think it's worked in the past, the 4 years, because the presidents were very in line with each other. I don't think presidents are aligned with each other right now at all. I think they're very opposite. So like you said, another Biden type comes into office after Trump, things are just going to be reversed, just like Trump's reversing Biden stuff. And so I think if you allow longer time, people can actually find out whether the policies that these presidents are enacting are good or not.
I disagree because I think 2 4-year terms. The thing is, I think about it as an 8-year term. As a president, you have the opportunity to serve for 8 years. Mm-hmm. It's up to you to make the right decisions to get reelected.
So do you think a 4-year term from Trump and then a 4-year from Biden and then a 4-year from Trump was beneficial at all?
It's not ideal. I'm not saying, but Trump lost the election, right? People didn't like him,
of course.
And he didn't do a good job in his first term, and people said no, go away, and then they were like, no, come back. So it's It's a democracy. That's what happens in a republic.
I just don't think it's productive at all. Because I don't even think like what Trump did in 2016 to 2020, I don't think it was enough time for people to realize whether it was a good or bad thing. 4 years is quick, like I said. If Trump was elected again and it continued, I think people would have actually realized whether it was good or bad.
What's a good length for a term, in your opinion?
I think like 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah.
So the senators
Yeah, I think
have
it's
a
a fair
6-year term.
term. It's a fair term.
I actually think it should be the opposite. I wouldn't be opposed for a president to serve. Actually, I don't want the senators to serve 6 years. I don't like that. I think they should be the ones serving 4 years.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
I definitely think the senators should serve 4 years.
And I think there
not
should be
6.
term limits, right? on
100%.
senators. There's no term limits there.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. We have that's the problem, bro. The grass is never greener. So even what I'm saying right now, right? We have term limits, great. We have, short years of office for presidencies. It's not so great for me. So it's like it's always going to be something, whether I like it, I like this, or I like what I just said, the 6 years, maybe longer term, whatever it may be. The grass is never greener. The people are never going to be happy.
Well, also, I think the whole labels thing, I was thinking about this last night, is if you're a conservative, automatically you're against illegal immigration. You want every single person to be deported immediately. You don't care how long they've been here.
Yeah.
If you're a liberal, you're like, no, let's give them refuge. Let's automatically make them, citizen. Basically, these are the two policies. And I just think this whole conservative liberal thing takes away from what the actual problem is. Because the truth is somewhere in the middle. It's
always.
not. It's always somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
And it's, if you just put people in boxes, we just keep having this back and forth. And it's all about who's winning the current political moment. For instance, what happened in LA, where we live, Los Angeles.
Yeah, riots.
The riots. Donald Trump is using it for political weaponization. He sent in active Marines to Los
insane.
Angeles. That's not right, bro.
That's ridiculous.
You're wasting
bro.
their time.
Yeah.
They didn't.
You know how much they're spending on this?
How much?
I think it's $150 million, bro.
That's disgusting.
To send in 700 Marines. $150 million?
That's crazy. That's
It's
crazy.
madness, bro.
Yeah.
It's freaking madness.
And the National Guard. The governor said, don't send the National Guard. And the president usually respects that. You're supposed to, under the law. If the governor of a state doesn't ask you to send in the National Guard, you don't send in the National Guard.
That's ridiculous.
And he's saying that he saved LA from burning again? What are you talking about?
It makes no sense, dude.
Yes, people rioted. They were looting the Apple store and, putting Waymos on fire.
But that's an LA problem that we need to fix.
Yeah.
We fucked up again
That's a cultural problem.
We should have elected somebody. We shouldn't have elected Bass. And I think people are realizing that now. But it is what it is, dude. That's the state level. That's what we have to fix.
I was seeing, though, she is saying that the people rioting and violence, they should all be put in jail and, be held accountable. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, because I think she needed like some sort of recovery from the fires, right?
Yeah.
She messed up and she's like, okay, let me see how I can fix this. And she found an opportunity, and that's what it is. That's politics, though, right? That's politics.
It's always Gavin Newsom. He's saying,
yeah, exactly.
put everybody in jail.
And dude, have you been reading the comments?
What?
On these? Oh, dude, during the fires, during COVID, everyone, even the liberals talking shit on Gavin, right? Now he's saying this. Everyone's like, oh, man, he's such a great leader. Oh, man, this is the right thing to do. I can't wait for Gavin for president. It's like, where's everybody's head, bro? Do they forget?
People do forget.
Everybody forgets, dude.
We do. That's the whole thing in politics.
Pathetic. It's fucking pathetic.
Gavin, to his credit, though, Newsom has played this pretty, in my opinion, he's
pretty
made
neutral.
all the right moves.
He's been
called
acting
out
like
Trump.
A strong leader, yeah.
Yeah, he's called out Trump. He's saying don't deport young girls, and then he's saying, which is what was happening, and he's saying everybody who's writing and doing illegal, putting people on fire, or not people, cars on fire, should be put in jail. This is not what we stand for. So
yeah, that's
the right thing to say.
That's the right thing to say.
Yeah.
My point is, he knew the right thing to say when the fires are going on. He knew the right thing to say during COVID. He knows he's not a dumb guy. But he intentionally chose to say the wrong things, and now he's saying the right things because he wants to implant the seed for the next term. He's going to run for president.
Yeah, he's going to run for president.
Yeah, he's going to run for president.
Yeah.
So he's planting the seeds now. And everybody's going to forget, just like when Biden's running, right? People forgot what he was saying years before. But the truth is...
Same thing with Trump. People forget.
Same thing with Trump. Whoever it is.
Yeah.
People forget, and it's like, people have to remember. Remembering is a powerful thing, dude. The past is a powerful thing. The strongest way to predict the future is by looking at the past, right? And I don't know, dude, this is just it's pathetic, dude.
It's
Politics is pathetic.
What's also pathetic is I don't know if you saw this. Trump was at North Carolina at a military base celebrating 250 years of American Army.
Okay.
He's doing this speech. There's military people, active duty military officials right behind him, people in uniforms. And he's like criticizing Newsom and everybody else. They're booing.
It's crazy, dude.
That is like, that's not a democracy.
That's not the place to even say that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
bro.
and they're booing. They're agreeing with each other. They're booing active American politicians.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And you know what he's doing for his birthday weekend, Donald Trump? He's throwing a military parade. What is this guy?
You know where he was this weekend on Saturday?
What MMA, right?
He was at the UFC, bro.
Yeah.
While all this stuff was happening. And he stays there the whole time.
Yeah.
He'll stay there, not the prelims, but he'll stay there for the 4 fights.
So like what, 3 hours? 2
Probably.
hours? Yeah.
About.
That is crazy.
That's crazy.
I don't know how you have time as a president of the United States to do that kind of stuff.
That's once a month too, brother. UFC's once a month.
He goes there every month.
He goes
right?
every time to support Dana because Dana was a big part of the podcast and getting Trump elected and all this.
So Elon wasn't there with his walk this time.
He wasn't
just
there, huh?
Him and Dana, the 2 good old loyal pals.
It's insane, dude. You know what Trump? So I was watching one of the press conferences. I think it was yesterday. And one of the reporters said, as we were walking in this morning, such and I forgot who it was, what politician, but they said that Trump is basically asking for a civil war by sending these Marines out there. And Trump was like, actually, I'm doing the opposite. I'm trying to stop these people from starting their own civil war. My opinion, when you send active military troops to a place, maybe that's not his intention to start a civil war, but that's an act, bro. 100%. What are normal humans going to do against fucking Marines, dude? Nothing.
You live in LA. Do you think a civil war is gonna break loose in LA? Is that what's happening?
No, I think people are going to be afraid as fuck if a Marine is in front of them with a semi-automatic weapon. 100%.
Yeah. Well,
if tanks are going through the cities, people are going to be afraid.
The thing is, bro, I do want to say the people protesting. The problem is we've been to some of them, not to actually protest, but when the Black Lives Matter thing was happening, we went to see what was happening, and it was peaceful for the most part, but we weren't there for the times.
No, in the very do you remember the first day, we only one day, right? But in the very beginning when we went,
there was confrontational.
They threw smoke bombs, they let a rubber bullet fly.
That's right. Yeah.
And then after that, that's when they were like, oh, we gotta chill. Like I forgot who it was, but there was one of the leaders of Black Lives Matter movement. They stepped up and started talking to one of the police officers. Maybe it was a chief, I don't know. But then it started to calm down.
There's no organization to these protests. Like there's no leader, so it's everybody does their own thing. That's the problem.
So just somebody that stepped up, yeah.
Yeah. So there's obviously, if you have like thousands of people protesting, some dumbass is gonna light something on fire.
Yeah, of course.
Some dumbass is gonna do something crazy, and then yes, there will be 100, 200 people that loot a store. Because why not? You're telling me like these people who have nothing else to do on this, they're all unemployed or have nothing going on. So there's like a MacBook right there sitting for them to be stolen. They're obviously gonna steal that.
I don't know, dude.
There's no organization to these protests. Like there's no leader. There's no, you know what I'm saying? There's no way to coordinate peace. Yeah. And I do think some people, bro, are saying that, it's Trump's policies that caused the riots. I
disagree with that.
I disagree with that too, because there should be no room ever for any sort of violence or destroying public property or looting things.
Looting an Apple store has nothing to do with the government.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with Trump.
Trump didn't cause that. You guys, some retards caused that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, bro. But that's a problem within the culture, dude. We have our culture in America is totally fucked up, dude. And I think, I don't know why, but thinking about it, okay, a lot of societies don't have this, right? I think who does have it, there's problems in Canada, there's problems in the UK that we see, right? We don't see this kind of like harming each other's businesses in a lot of third world countries. You'll see cartels kick in, but you won't see random militias start to form, like random gangs start to form and go loot Apple stores, go loot Targets, Walmarts. That doesn't really happen. You don't really see that happening. And it's kind of weird that it happens in America, but the only commonality I think in like the UK, Canada, America is all of the cultures combine. All of these ethnicities start to combine, and I think there's a lack of culture in America almost. Does that make sense? Because there's so many different types of peoples coming together. Does that make sense at all?
I see what you're saying, but I think the problem is we're just too individualistic. It's all everybody's looking out for themselves.
But why is that? That's my point.
It's our culture. Look at Gavin Newsom.
But how did that come about? I think it came about because there's lack of community here.
It has to do with industrialization, right? As soon as people started moving to these big cities, when was the last time you talked to their neighbor? Nobody talks to their neighbors anymore.
Nobody talks to the neighbors, bro.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's not a community. I think it's not just because there's various ethnicities. I don't think that's the issue.
I think what's part of it is just when I talk to everyday people, and I don't think racism is as big a thing as it was before, but I do believe, not being racist, but I do believe that brown people want to stick with brown people, Mexican people want to stick with Mexican people, right? It's normal. But if your neighbors are white people, and then there's Asians, and there's Jews, and then there's Indians, like, for example, that's a lot of my neighborhood, my dad's. There's Russians, right? And then there's Italians, and then there's Indians, right? And so I think that's part of why we don't really speak to our neighbors. And then the Mexicans across the street, they're like from Mexico. So there's not a whole lot of culture that like we can even relate to with each other.
No, I don't think that's the problem. Because I in Cerritos where I live,
Yeah.
the person
You talk
next
to your
to
neighbors?
us, yeah, we talk. Not as much.
But,
we don't have
yeah.
to go for dinner. It's not that. But yeah, I know the person next to me and the person like we say hi consistently. But
No,
that's
yeah,
the-
we do that.
Yeah.
It's not like we don't do that. That's
I don't
not being
think
like
it's
a
because of
friend.
I don't think it's because of different ethnicities though, bro. I just think it's just the individualism that we promote in America.
I
Like
think that's
prioritize your
part
own
of it,
self-interests.
You don't get what I'm saying?
I get what you're 100%
I
what
think
you're
if
saying.
you're not with your community, you're naturally going to be more individualistic because you have to stick up for yourself. If your neighbor's not going to be there and you don't even talk to your neighbor because you guys aren't alike.
I think we're past that because America is becoming so multiracial. You know,
That's my point. It's so multiracial that you don't even have your community bound.
But the thing is, it's not. That's what I'm saying. Second generation people, third generation, like kids.
Yeah,
go to
our
school.
generation, I think, is going to change.
That's what I'm saying.
But right now,
Right
yeah,
now,
I think
I
like
don't think
Gen X, like our parents' generation, 100%, they're more racist than us. They have certain stigmas that we don't have.
I think it was a problem 40, 30 years ago. This was an issue. Like the culture
Do you
thing
talk
you're
to
describing.
like normal adults, and you don't hear like them saying racial things? You don't hear them saying like,
100%. Because they grew up in that world. That's what I'm saying. Your point was a very valid point 30 years ago in the 80s and the 90s, for sure.
but it's still existing because of that.
Yes. to a
Our
certain
generation's
degree.
changing it.
I think
because
so.
look at us, right?
Yeah.
Look at this room
Different
right here.
culture, yeah.
Very different. I can be friends with anybody, but I'm saying in the adults who are still active, they're still alive, right? Baby boomers are dying off, but they're still Gen X. It's still part of it. I don't want to get.
But they're not the ones looting. It's the young guys, the young people. There's no like 50-year-old looting an Apple store. Maybe there is.
That's a good point.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like
Yeah,
all
that's a
these
good point.
the images we see
Yeah.
are these like 30s, 20s.
But they're all with their
people.
community. Yeah, and they're all with their communities too.
Depends. There's a lot of Mexican and black people working together. There's also a lot of Asians protesting. It's
Asians looting? I haven't seen any.
Asians loot. I don't know about looting.
Have you seen an Asian loot?
That's only for
I've seen
Mexican and black people, man.
or
Yeah.
Hispanics in
That's-
general, and
They've
blacks.
trademarked that. That's Asian people can't do that. It's illegal for them, bro. They gonna get mad at them.
Yeah, you literally only see Mexicans and blacks. Bro.
Yeah, you have. I think an Asian might have like lit a Waymo on
It's a culture. I don't know, bro. This is such a weird.
but an
thing.
Asian person might have like lit a Waymo on fire.
Maybe.
Just because of their driving, they're like, "How dare you take over?" We're not that bad at
Damn
driving.
you! I didn't think of this idea.
Yeah.
I should be smart enough. I'm Asian too.
That's,
Who owns
that's
Waymo?
So sad.
Can you look that up? Is it an
Huh?
Asian guy?
No.
Is it an Asian guy that
I
owns
just
Waymo?
made that up. I don't know. Who
No, actually,
lit
look.
up a Waymo.
Who's the
There's
founder
no
of
way.
Waymo?
Oh, a founder of Waymo.
Yeah, could be an Asian guy. Waymo. Waymo.
That was so sad to see some Waymos on fire. What did they
Bro,
do
there
to
was
anybody?
like 5.
And you know what they did? Apparently, they called.
Yeah, they
Waymo.
called them.
They called them and they lit them on fire, bro. That's just sad.
Oh, it's not Asian. Oh, of course. Okay, not Asian. It's who you would expect.
I don't know what the path forward is, honestly. I think as long as people like Gavin Newsom exist, people like Karen Bass exist, people like Donald Trump exist, I don't see our problems getting solved because they're all motivated by re-election and their optics.
Yeah. I think what's going to happen eventually, I don't know, in our lifetime, but there's definitely going to be like some, it's like almost, it's going to be I don't want to say like overturn of government, but I think it's going to be something like an overturn of government.
Civil war.
Yeah, I think that's eventually what's going to happen, whether it's a civil war or an active war with another country coming in. But I think something has to happen in America where it changes. There needs to be some uniting, and we're not seeing any uniting right now because there's nothing significant that's happening. Like when there's war that's going on, like the Vietnam War, or even when 9/11 happened, there was a uniting of people, right? It didn't matter who you were, people were talking. Right now, we don't see any of that. There's nothing significant that's happening. And so when in my opinion, I don't know if you agree with this, but when nothing is happening, nothing significant is happening, people create problems. And when you create problems, this is the kind of stuff that happens.
There's so many problems in America. So many.
But during 9/11, like,
yeah,
did any of that matter?
Yeah, I understand, but that was like an act of war on us.
Exactly my point.
So you're saying somebody should attack us, make us more united?
No, but I think that's going to change things. That'll make a cultural difference.
But I think we just need better leadership. Like, honestly, I think Vivek talked about this on the campaign trail, and I actually appreciated what he said. He said we need a political style revolution in the country, the likes of 1776, a bloodless revolution where we literally change the entire political structure and we change the incentives.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
I think we just need I don't know if one leader is going to solve it, but we need a movement of people.
And by the way, if Vivek was in say he won president, I don't think he would do that. I don't think he would be any different than Trump right now.
He would be in some things, bro. Like he wouldn't do the speech. And get the military
he wouldn't
guys.
say the same things, right?
But policy-wise, I think it'd be different too. Because Trump, this is a whole Trump thing. The National Guard, the Marines. This was a Trump-based thing. He wanted the optics.
Brother, what I'm saying is not that he's Trump. I'm not saying he's Trump. What I'm saying is he's still going to be a politician. He's still going to do what politicians do. That's what I'm saying. I don't think there would be this silent revolution that he's advocating for. I don't think that would happen.
Yeah, because he'd
get taken out, bro.
Huh?
He'd get taken out. There's more powerful forces in play right now.
He was saying somebody would assassinate him.
If he was trying to start, yes, 100%. Something would happen like that. Or money. Or, I mean, he doesn't need money, but there would be something that ticks it off where he ends up being the same fucking way a politician is. Just like Trump, he said he's going to be this different guy. Yeah, he is a different guy, but he's still a politician at the end of the day. He's still making the same moves that all these politicians make.
Something that doesn't make sense about Trump is what he's doing with these students. You know what he's trying to do?
Yeah, bro, Harvard, they're kicking him out, dude. It's madness. They're taking away the student visas.
They're taking away international students, the kids that bring in the wealth.
Yeah, it makes
these
no
are the
sense.
only kids paying full tuition. If you're an American who goes to Harvard and your family makes less than $150K, you're not paying anything for college. Right. Harvard takes care of everything for the most part. Yeah. How do they make money is literally through these international students. At USC, 25% of the student body population was international students. So now 25%, buddy. And you know what they're doing now? Now they're screening every student, making sure they're not pro-Palestinian, making sure they don't say anything against Israel. What is this? It's a loyalty test. I'm not even making this up. Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, came out and said, if you speak against Israel, if you basically they're trying to say if you're anti-Semitic, which is if you criticize Israel, that's their standard. You are anti-Semitic, Matthew, if you are anti-Israel, and you cannot come and study in the United States of America. That's what they're trying to say. Yeah. Why do we have this loyalty for Israel? Trump is to me, he seems like a kind of a sane person. Sane as in like. He speaks for common sense policies. You know, some common sense. Common sense is not that common, but common sense might say deport everybody illegal. You know, common sense says, yeah, why are we investing American taxpayer dollars in all these countries? You know, why are we fighting Israel's wars? Common sense says that. So why? Common sense doesn't say that Israel should be our dad, our father, our beloved father, and we should do whatever Father Israel tells us. Or our son. It's like, I don't understand it. This loyalty for Israel, bro. These Republicans and conservatives, they're addicted to them, bro. It's sad.
Bro, you don't get it,
no,
man.
I get it. I get why. I get why what's happening. What's happening is because of pockets and big money. But
no, we will never understand. Not even about the money, bro. We can get money anywhere. It's not about that. We will never understand what's happening. We won't know until we're in that place. We just won't. Like, you can say whatever you want, like, oh, it's fucked up, or this or that. There's something happening that we can't comprehend because we don't know.
I don't think it's that complicated. I just think it comes down to
it 100% is that complicated.
People who have Israeli ties are giving a lot of money to American politicians, and people like Donald Trump are scared of, you know, They're controlled.
Why
by
is
them.
every single politician, for some reason, there's
Not
like,
every.
there's like 5 or a handful.
Bernie
of politicians.
Sanders has been speaking out.
Sorry, there's a handful. Yeah.
Yeah,
bro.
So it's
there's
possible.
A handful.
That's what I'm saying. It's possible.
Yeah, but out of how many seats are there in Congress?
Yeah, I agree. A lot.
There's 580 something, or there's 100 in Senate. There's a president.
Yeah, 435 in House.
435. Okay, so 535 plus. That's a lot of people to have 5 people saying, "Hey, like we shouldn't be sending money to Israel. Hey, we shouldn't be doing this."
I think it's like 80 to 90% people are in love.
It's
with Israel.
mad.
Yeah,
And that tells me it's not about the money, bro. There's something else happening.
it is about the money. Maybe there's
think
something
so?
else. Maybe it's about the money.
Why-
It's APAC.
oh.
It's APAC. They give money to everybody.
big part. I think there's something deeper though, dude. There's something deeper that we don't know.
What are you trying to say?
I'm thinking of a conspiracy. There's something deeper.
Thinking of a conspiracy.
It is, bro. It makes 0 sense to me. It makes 0 sense, dude. These guys can make money anywhere. They can make money insider trading. They can make money with other countries. They can make money within their own state governments, which they do.
You know what it is? I think here's my theory on this: is APAC. If you're against APAC, bro, it's been proven. Both Democrats and Republicans, you're gonna lose the election because their political machine is just so powerful. It's not just about the money. You're right. It's about the way they infiltrate campaigns. They have so many connections on the state, local, federal, state level. Local, state, and federal levels that they just make it impossible for you to win your elections. And they've seen the APAC has just become like literally Uncle Sam in some ways. It's Uncle Sam, bro. It's gonna destroy you. And these politicians are scared shitless because it's one of the most organized political machines in America, APAC. So every single United States politician that's running for federal office is scared shitless of APAC. They don't want to go against APAC. That's just I think that's what it breaks down to.
I don't know. I don't think
Like Bernie Sanders doesn't take money from APAC.
Why don't we just take SEAL Team 6 and go assassinate their leaders?
APAC?
Yeah.
That's the thing. APAC is so organized that
Cut 'em
there's
off with the head.
it's Israeli money coming in, bro. It's like it's not even like one person giving. It's not like George Soros, you know. It's not like one fucking billionaire. It's like literally thousands of people giving money for because you have to understand Israel's perspective, bro. They're the only Jewish state, and they feel like their existence is constantly threatened. So they view this as a life and death situation for them. That's what they view it as.
It is constantly threatened.
Israel, it's constantly threatened. Sure, they have security threats from Iran and other countries, but they were making peace with Saudi Arabia. They were making peace with a lot of countries until the attacks happened. But, you know. Look at what they've done. They've ruined the entire reputation in the country of Israel.
They've ruined it?
They've ruined it. Even Piers Morgan now.
Depends on who you're asking.
If you ask the American people, 70 to 80% of them will be saying Israel needs to stop
Not
the
our
war.
politicians.
Not our politicians.
Not our politicians, buddy.
We're all seeing the images.
The ones that matter.
It's
Unfortunately,
sad. It's sad, yeah. I mean, that's why I think there needs to be a political revolution in the country. But there needs to be some sort of change where, and I don't like this idea of young people running for office and being there for like decades either. You know what I'm saying? Like AOC, I don't want her to be there. She's been there
right
for
now,
like
12 years or something.
No, not 12, bro. She just got in like 5-6 years ago.
Longer. When we were in high school, wasn't she?
It's been 7 years, I think. 7-8 years.
It's been. Yeah,
she started in
it's like
2017, 2018.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's been like
8
3
years?
terms, 7, 8. I don't think members of Congress should do more than 5 terms.
Congress.
So
and
House
their
of
terms are 2
Representatives,
years?
2 years, yeah. 10 years.
10 years max.
A decade, I think, is good enough time for you to make it. If you can't make an impact in a decade,
10 years, yeah.
10 years, in
I
my
agree
opinion.
with that.
And senators, I think it should be reduced down to 4-year terms, and the max you should be able to do is 12
Senate?
years. Yeah, maybe
12
3,
years.
10 to 12 years, not more than 12 years. We should not have any leader in power more than 12 years.
I think we need one world order.
one
I
world
think that's
order.
the answer. And I think the aliens, that's what's coming down. This is my conspiracy. That's the ultimate conspiracy.
Aliens are coming soon?
Aliens are coming down. Israel is actually initiating these aliens from coming down. And Israel is going to be coinciding with the aliens in the one world order.
Israel's like inventing the aliens? They're just
Not
making-
inventing them. They're working with them. And they're saying, hey, guys, work with us. And we're gonna create one world order where you guys will be able to rule everything. But really, it's us, Israel, that's gonna rule.
Do you actually believe this, or are you just saying this?
Yeah, I believe this.
You don't believe this
I
at all.
believe
You
it.
do not believe
Why
this.
can't you just let me believe something?
I don't believe it.
You can't
Just
force
say it
me
on
to
your
not
face.
believe something.
I can, actually. It's very easy.
No, of course not, man. Of course not. But unfortunately, this whole immigration problem, It's been a problem since the dawn of time, bro. People don't want people coming into their territory, and people will continue to go into their territory. It is something that's always going to happen. It's always going to happen.
In prosperous countries. Like, we don't see people coming down to Madagascar. You know, we're not seeing immigration.
They are people.
Sure.
There's people going to Costa Rica.
Yeah, but Costa Rica is a happy country, man.
Bro, there's a lot of poverty. We saw it, dude. We saw the poverty.
There is. But it's, in terms of Latin American countries, Costa Rica comparatively is doing pretty well.
Yeah, Costa Rica is doing pretty well.
Yeah. And I don't think people would leave Costa Ricans seem to be really happy living there. You know,
people don't really leave because
it's
culture though. It's the culture that you get what I'm saying. It's the culture. We don't have a shit culture in America, in the UK and Canada. It's just a bad culture. And I don't think Canada's doing also well, like you said earlier. I think they're struggling.
They are struggling, but it's not like Mexico. You know, would you rather live in Canada or Mexico? Canada, comparatively, more opportunities.
What's my
if you're in the cartel, I would say.
No, what's my economic status? Do I make money?
Yeah, middle class.
I'd rather live in Mexico.
No, not elite. I'm not talking about elite. Middle class. You have a salary job. Obviously, you want to,
Yeah, things are expensive.
Things are always great for rich people anyway. Rich people in Pakistan are doing amazing. Rich people in Madagascar.
In Pakistan, I wouldn't agree with that.
Rich people in Pakistan are doing incredible.
I've heard very bad things
about rich people in Pakistan.
Yes.
They have the best lives. They have like 10 servants.
They have terrible lives.
They don't. I'm telling you, rich people in Pakistan.
I'm just kidding, bro.
If you want to be rich in any country,
bro.
go to India or Pakistan. You live like a king. You live like a king. It's sad.
I think any poor country you can go to and live like a king.
Yeah, it's sad.
You're rich. Yeah.
But the reason why, I know a lot of people shit talk America, but there's a reason why people keep coming here illegally. Things are really good. America is a great place.
It's the best way to make good money.
Yeah.
This is the best country to make good money. 100%.
Regardless of the problems, if you're a legal citizen, you can do anything you want.
You can come here, bro, legally, right? Legally, become a construction worker that's a part of a union, work for 20, 25 years, make $100K a year.
Yeah.
In 20, 25 years, you're retired. And you have a pension. Come here legally. Okay, this is also, bro, this is really, really smart. If you sacrifice those 5 to 10 years living in your country, you start when you're 18, the whole process, by 28, you come here. By 48 years old, you can be in America retired with a pension.
You can, yeah.
You can.
But life isn't, they're living like under gang violence in some situations. So they got to leave now. In Mexico and these other places, bro.
Yeah, unfortunately.
The people that are coming in, they have to leave ASAP. They can't wait till they're 18.
I would do it too. I just said I would come illegally. 100%.
You would?
100%.
Yeah, I don't know what I would do if I'm living under like gang violence. Like my life is starting every day.
If I have a kid, bro, and I'm in a shit part of Latin America, I'm 100% figuring out how to get here. And because even shit places here are better than there.
How do we take away the cartel's power? Because I do think the cartel just...
It's like ISIS, bro. It's not possible anymore.
No, but ISIS we took away.
ISIS still exists.
I agree, but they don't have the power that they did 10 years ago. Not even close. I will give Trump some credit for this.
For taking out
He literally
Baghdadi.
He took out... But the thing is, can you get rid of all terrorism? No. There's always going to be some terrorism. I'm not saying that. There's always going to be a drug dealer.
Only druggers, yeah.
But I'm saying, can we reduce the cartel's power? Definitely we can. What do we do?
In America.
In America, sure, yeah. But even because it's all connected.
Legalize drugs.
It's legalized drugs.
Legalize drugs.
If you legalize all drugs,
yeah. The problem is I don't see why they wouldn't do it at this point because a lot of illegal drugs coming in are laced with fent, and that's like killing off a lot of whether it's the cartel doing it, whether it's China orchestrating this.
Well, China makes all the material.
Yeah,
they give them the playbook.
There is a portion of them orchestrating this, right?
Yeah, the Chinese government wants Americans dead.
So I think the way to combat it is, hey guys, let's legalize this, and then you guys do what you got to do.
Legalize fentanyl?
No, drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if they want to do fent, do fent. But I guarantee people aren't going to do fentanyl if there's clean meth coming out, if there's clean cocaine, if there's clean heroin. They're not going to do fentanyl. The reason they go to fentanyl is because they can't afford whatever else it is.
And not even that. A lot of people die of fentanyl because it's laced. They don't know it has fentanyl.
They don't even know. Exactly.
They don't know. Most of the deaths are this way, right?
Yeah, but a thing with fentanyl is 1 in 4 people are going to die within like the first 2 times trying fentanyl, right? So it doesn't matter whether it's laced or not. You're going to die either way, right? But I don't think people would do fentanyl if they had the option, if they had, options.
I've thought about the legalization of drugs. What is a con, though, if you legalize all drugs?
Hell could break loose.
Everybody just on drugs. Everybody's becoming coke addict.
Maybe coke. Maybe coke becomes a lot more prevalent. I think coke may become a lot more prevalent. Cocaine. Because just like people need a downer like marijuana to ease them down for the day, people need the upper in the mornings to wake them up. Why drink coffee if you have cocaine?
What did you have for weed today? What did you have for cocaine today? It's cocaine cafes.
And I do think people but reality is I think when you legalize things, people are disincentivized to do it.
But alcohol, it's legalized and people do it. It's a drug. It's worse than many drugs.
Yeah.
It's worse than cocaine
People
in many
do it,
ways.
yeah, for sure.
People still do it. People still die of
Because it's a
drunk driving.
recreational thing. I don't know if you could do, but marijuana's a recreational thing, right? But I think, I could be wrong, but then the users of marijuana have decreased since its legalization.
Are you sure about that?
I think so. You could look that up, Russ. If the users of marijuana have increased or decreased since legalization, national legalization. I don't know actually. The problem with the prohibition was people weren't allowed to sell alcohol, right? So I don't think you can use that.
Or consume. It was illegal. Period.
Or consume?
Yeah, it was a complete.
It was like, how would you get it at that point?
Yeah, it was a complete crackdown.
It didn't. It didn't increase. It decreased.
There's no change overall.
Okay. There's been no change in usage. So that should tell you it's gonna be the same thing.
But
who's texting me?
Also, what time is it?
Is it a guy named Jose that's texting me? Actually?
Jose.
What are you saying, Sven?
He wants a video.
What?
He can't go.
He can't come?
He has to go get his nieto.
Oh my god.
Can you ask him if he's a legal resident of America?
Don't ask him. I don't want to know. I don't want anybody to show up to Palace.
Wait, let me ask you a question. If ICE comes in at your warehouse, because this is a possibility, bro.
Yeah.
You sell like,
Yeah.
you come in. They come in, they're like, yo, Matt, Gutierrez. First of all, let me see your papers. And second of all, I hear a lot of people come into your warehouse that are, not very legal. So what are you going to do in that case? This is a very big possibility. This is actually real. Huh?
I would ask, where did you hear that?
What if you're doing a transaction? They come in the middle. They like literally barrage in the doors. This is very possible.
What can I do, bro?
God forbid. Are you gonna try to protect we're gonna be like, what are you gonna do?
I can't do anything.
Let's role play here. I'm the ICE officer. You're the okay. That's right. I feel bad. We're making light of this situation, but it's like, I do feel bad, bro, for the people, especially especially the families that are mixed in terms of like somebody's legal, somebody's illegal. Like, how do you even operate? Like, it's so like uncertain.
It's tough, bro. Especially if you're illegal. Kids are born here. They're legal. It's like, what do you do?
And I personally saw, I'm like 90% sure, bro. I saw ICE officers outside the Home Depot.
Yeah, they were there.
Because they were wearing a mask.
So that same day, by the way, I had customers come in and buy pallets. And the lady was telling me that they were in the Home Depot on Alondra about an hour before I was there, which is when we were
and
there.
they saw ICE as well.
Yeah, they saw ICE.
Yeah, I saw it. I was there.
Yep.
Why do they cover up their faces, these officers? What are you scared of?
But a lot of scrutiny.
I understand, but I don't think it's right for a federal officer to cover up their faces.
Who are these people? Have you ever met an ICE agent?
But I've seen these people. They look like...
Where do they live?
I don't know. It's,
you know what I'm saying? I've never met an ICE agent.
I was thinking about this. There should be like I would see a movie about an ICE officer.
Their life.
There's a day in the life, or like even like their dilemma. Because I'm sure they have.
Have you seen End of Watch?
No.
It's a great movie based on the policeman in L.A. That would be a great concept for an ICE guy.
I don't think a lot of them personally feel comfortable. You know,
I don't think anybody feels comfortable removing somebody from their home.
Yeah.
Whether how much you want to say, hey, you're illegal, you deserve to leave. I don't think people feel comfortable with that.
I've seen clips of them just
ICE
seem like they enjoy it.
They seem like they enjoy it.
They're
yanking them.
and shit.
Some of them, sure, but they have to rationalize it for themselves too.
Yeah,
right?
I feel like deep down, bro, you know something's right or you know something's wrong.
Yeah.
You know.
It depends on the people for sure. That's kind of fucked.
So yeah, it's nasty, dude. Unfortunately, we live in a nasty society. We live in a nasty world, and we will never see true beauty until the heaven to come.
What? Damn, bro. That's such a pessimistic worldview.
I think this world is beautiful, but there's always going to be shit, dude. Doesn't matter how rich you are or how poor you are. There's always going to be shit in this world. You'll never be able to hide. Do you remember Sirens? Did you watch the whole show?
Yeah.
How rich was this couple, bro? Filthy rich. Who came into their lives? A couple of poor people.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be, doesn't matter how rich you are, you'll never be able to hide from the realities of the world. You'll never completely be able to taint out the shit situations.
There's no such thing as a perfect world. There's always going to be problems, but how do we reduce these problems so that a massive amount of people are not suffering? That's what the goal is. You laugh, but that's the goal.
Of course, it's never going to happen though. What's never
going to happen?
Perfect society, like.
Not saying fix everything. I'm just saying fix it to the maximum of our ability.
This is the dilemma. Okay, hypothetically, Trump comes in and he creates the perfect solution. The perfect solution. Whatever that solution may be. I don't know what the answer is. The perfect solution. He's going to leave in 4 years. Somebody else comes in. Maybe it stays the same. Say 50 years down the line, something's going to change. Everything is temporary. Time is temporary. People are temporary. Okay. Ideas are temporary, so nothing is ever going to work.
This is another logical fallacy. So I'm just saying this.
It's not a logical fallacy.
It is a logical fallacy.
This is reality.
This is a time-based logical fallacy that says that just because things will change in the future doesn't mean anything needs to be done at this current moment, because it's never going to get.
That's not a fallacy. That's a progressive way of thinking.
How is that a progressive way of thinking? Because you're actually using time. You're using time as a scapegoat to delay the solving of the problems just because they're bound to change anyways.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not even creating a solution here.
Yeah, you're
I'm not
saying
even creating a scapegoat.
No solution is needed. You're like, it is what it is.
No, what you need to do is people need to be able to realize this. Reality sucks, dude. Reality sucks. It will never be changed. All you can do is focus on yourself. That's the only thing you're able to change.
Disagree.
Oh, okay.
Disagree.
Okay.
A lot of people at the time of slavery existed were like, this is the reality. It never would be changed. And it got changed.
Slavery still exists, buddy. Sorry to tell you.
Not in America. Not to the degree that it did.
Okay, cheap labor exists. What the fuck's the difference?
Hold on. Slavery 200 years ago versus cheap labor is a huge difference.
There's
100%.
No difference.
Yes, there
How
is. What are you talking about?
Cheap labor, bro. You still live in
America.
box.
I'm not talking about other countries. I'm talking about America. I'm talking about America. I'm not even talking about other countries, because
there's still people that get paid under minimum wage.
Yes, but they're not living like slaves. No way they're living like slaves. They're not owned by somebody.
Okay, they're not getting beat. You're right. They're not getting beat. But you tell me, what's the difference between living in a box that you can barely afford, you can't do anything else in your life but work, and a jail cell? There is no difference, dude. You're working basically for free.
But things are better for humans overall in America, for sure, 100% than 200 years ago. It is way better. Things are way better. I don't care what you say. I can prove it to you literally by numbers, by living standards. Look at what we are. America is a better country than it was 200 years ago, and things change. A lot of people at that time said you can't beat the British. Never going to happen. 13 colonies. What are you talking about?
Yeah, buddy. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. Of course,
impossible
it's
happens.
Like I just said, if immigration was solved, the perfect solution, in 200 years from now, it would not be solved. It's the same thing with the Roman Empire. It's the same thing with the England's British Empire. It's the same thing throughout history.
Go ahead. Finish your point.
My point, I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong. I agree with what you're saying. Yeah, we should strive for, but it doesn't matter. As long as you keep this frame of thought that, oh yeah, let's invoke change. Change is going to solve everything. It will never, you're always going to be put down. You're always going to be depressed about the situation. You're always going to think something else needs to happen. Once you put in your brain, hey, the world sucks. This is reality. How can I do something better for myself and within my circle? That's the only time you're going to truly be satisfied.
I'm not saying change everything, first of all. Let me ask you a question. Are you going to be alive in the year 2175?
Hopefully.
Let's be honest. You're not going to be alive.
Probably not, but hopefully.
You're not going to be alive. So we can only impact our current time. That's why it's a logical fallacy. Is like, we don't know what's going to happen 200 years from now. I just know what's going to happen today.
Okay, that's how.
What can I do today?
Display to me how it's a logical fallacy.
Because you're saying just because things are bound to change in the future, right? Things are going to change in the future. 200 years down the line, America might be Antarctica or Antarctica.
Whatever.
Yeah. So you're saying because that's bound to happen, what we do now doesn't really matter because the world sucks.
But
and
that's
it is
not a
what
fallacy.
It is.
That's
That is
what I'm saying.
How is that not a fallacy?
A fallacy is telling me what my logic is disrupted because it's wrong.
Logic, yeah. What you're making is a logically invalid argument.
No, it's not.
Because no, it is because
You know why, bro?
Why?
Because whatever you say your solution is, that's your opinion. That's your opinion. And this is if whatever solution I say is my opinion. So you can't. There's no fallacies in opinions. There's fallacies on facts, but there's no fallacies on opinions.
hold on, nobody's talking about solutions. You're making an overall argument about the world, more specifically America, right? You're saying immigration is never
A
going
frame
to
of thought is what I'm saying. It's
You're
a frame
saying
of
immigration is
thought.
never going to get fixed.
That is a fact.
That's not a fact. Immigration is never going to get fixed. If you're saying immigration is never going to be perfect, I agree. It's never going to be perfect. Nothing is perfect ever. Right. But we can do our best to make it as perfect as possible. What is America's promise? To be the
You
most...
take what I say too black and white, bro.
What am I supposed to do? A more perfect union. That's our whole premise. A more perfect union. That's it.
How many people are upset in America right now? A lot of people, whether they want immigration, whether they don't want immigration.
Sure.
My whole point in this is I'm not saying to stop what you're doing. What I'm saying is everybody has to understand in their brain that the world isn't perfect. All these people that are rioting right now, protesting, people that are having heart attacks about these issues, they shouldn't be having fucking heart attacks because whether things change, whether things don't change, the world isn't perfect. All I'm saying is, yeah, sure, go ahead, do what you want to do. Create the perfect solution. I know it's never going to happen. Go create the perfect solution. But as long as you have this expectation in your head that everybody is wrong, that we need to do more, we need to do better, you're always going to fall behind in the world. You always will fall behind. The less expectations that you have in this world, the further along you're going to go. 100%.
Clarify the point about expectations. What do you mean? Give me an example. I'm actually genuinely curious.
What do you want explanation on?
Like, what do you mean by expectations?
Expectations as you're going to make a difference.
You don't think people will make a difference?
I'm not saying that.
What are you saying then?
If your expectation is things are going to happen, not they might happen, or if I work hard enough, they can happen, but they are going to happen. All these people protesting, their frame of thought is things are going to change if I go out there and beat up these cops. If I go out there with guns, if I go out there and riot, things are going to change. It's an absolute in their mind, and nothing's an absolute. So my point is, in life, you can't have these absolutes. If you have these absolutes, you are going to bring yourself down. You're going to be angry. Your entire life is going to be formed around negativity. That's my point. It's not that you shouldn't go do something. Go ahead, do something if that's your calling. But understand, life's not perfect, and that you shouldn't have this expectation that things are going to be perfect.
You know, I agree with that. Like, if your aspiration is perfect always, you're going to be depressed because you can't achieve perfect. You can strive your best to get as close to perfect as possible. Mm-hmm. You agree with that, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean we have this regressive mindset that things will not change. That's all I'm saying. Things can change. Not saying they're going to change everything. The world's going to be this big, beautiful, fat place like Trump says. But, you know, we can strive our best to do it. That doesn't mean it's not going to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
that's what I'm saying. You're taking what I was saying. You're taking it to a different level. Like you're seeing what I was saying.
You
too
said
black and white.
things will not change. That's what you said.
Things won't. On the grand scheme of things won't change.
That's where we disagree because I actually think things can change on the grand scheme of things. Yes.
That's
what I'm. We're semantically, bro. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
This is you keep saying something and then you go back on it. You're saying it's a semantical debate because at one hand you're saying don't strive for perfection, and I agree with that, but then you're saying nothing's gonna change anyways. So am I understanding you differently? Am I putting words in your mouth? Tell me.
I feel like you are.
But what are you trying to say then? Because I'm confused now.
Part of mitigating your expectations is understanding that things are going to be the same at the end of the day. If you understand that, in this lifetime, you want to protect the people that are alive right now, like you said, and you want to go protect those people, fine, go do it. But if you have to understand that in 500 years, your actions today aren't going to make a difference then.
So now we fall into the trap of a logical fallacy again.
That's not a logical fallacy because you can go ahead and continue working for what you want to work for.
But if nothing matters, then why do anything? Somebody might say, if 500 years nothing matters.
That's a dilemma you have to. I've struggled with that question. Okay, if nothing matters, why do I care so much about building my business? Why do I care so much about my family?
Because there's a lot you've struggled with that. And I struggle with that right now because it's a logical fallacy. I don't think things are what we do now
It's
impacts the
absolutely
future.
not a fallacy, bro. Stop saying that, please.
It
It's
is.
bothering me now.
What we
It's
do
not
now,
a fallacy.
what we do now doesn't impact the future.
What we do now can impact the short future. Yeah.
What we do now does not impact 500 years from now.
No.
Disagree. I disagree with that.
How?
In what the founders did, 1776, does that impact us today?
In terms of what?
In terms of everything, our government, what the founders.
Yeah, we've created a government. Yes.
Does the Constitution affect us?
How
this day,
how
it
the
affects
founders
us.
saw America was going to be? It's not the same.
Sure, but it still affects us. What they did, with the actual work. I don't care what they thought or what they expected. What did they actually deliver? The Constitution affects us to this day.
Yeah.
Does what all the theories of physics still affect us? Newton's theories on gravity still affect us. The Enlightenment still affects us.
You think of things so like.
I'm actually trying to understand what you're trying to say, and I'm just disagreeing.
Are we talking about immigration?
I'm talking about everything. Immigration, what we do now, will impact us 500 years from now, brother. You seem like you just got hit by a truck.
I feel like I'm in bizarro world.
You
bro.
look like you're being traumatized, bro.
I
Relax.
feel like I am with you, bro.
I'm actually trying to understand what you're trying to say. I swear to God, bro. I'm not even trying to be like a hard ass or like a know-it-all.
It's not even being like a hard ass. It's just like
Because I don't understand where you're coming from. You have all these amazing opinions that I agree with. It makes sense. But then you're like, oh, nothing matters. It's like,
because that is the truth of the world. Every fucking philosopher and economist has come to this conclusion. Every
nothing
human with
matters?
a brain that nothing actually matters.
no. How could you believe in God? How could you say that nothing matters? What are you on, bro? No. You don't make sense.
It's not
to
a
me.
nihilistic way of thinking. See, you have see, this is no, bro.
You have a nihilistic way of
You know
thinking.
why? Oh my god, this is beautiful, bro.
This
It's
guy's
actually
crazy.
beautiful.
This guy's crazy. I'm in gaslight.
No. You know what I've just realized, Quan?
How do you go from being looking traumatized to
Bro.
saying this is beautiful?
You know what I've just realized? That's this guy's problem.
What?
I've actually found your fucking problem.
What's my problem? Tell
Your
me.
biggest problem is what you said. You don't like philosophy. Bro, that's what it is. This nihilistic way of thinking, you think nihilism is such a bad thing, bro.
It is.
That's incredible. You know why you think that?
Why?
Because you
Tell me. Enlighten me, Mr. Gutierrez.
sad, bro.
Tell me about myself.
Oh my god.
No, actually, I'm curious. Tell me.
You're making me snot right now, dude. Man, this is why philosophy is so important, bro. If you're an active thinker, philosophy is so important because you get stuck in this frame of thought that nihilism, the idea of nothing matters, is a bad thing. That's why it's so important. If you actually studied philosophy and studied what these people were trying to say, you would realize that nihilism isn't a bad thing and it's a freeing thing. It's actually freeing. It's not like just because nothing matters, I have to stop and just stand still. Nothing matters, so I can do anything that I want. Nothing matters, so I can not care about what Ibrahim thinks and go ahead and say what I want. Nothing matters, so I can go travel the world even though expectations and expectations of other people tell me that I got to work my ass off.
Here's a counter to that. Can I? Here's a counter.
Okay.
Nothing matters. So I can kill myself right now. Nothing
Absolutely,
matters.
you can.
Nothing matters. So whatever I do right now doesn't matter anyway. So might as well just live a life of absolute laziness, of absolute
You can
misery.
absolutely do that.
Of absolute. And
I have no problem with people doing that stuff.
the nothing, but that's not productive for anybody. Not
But
even themselves.
You get what I see, but your frame of thought and my frame of thought, I have a much more freeing feeling in my mind.
No,
and
so
you
do
don't.
I do because
No,
I
bro,
actually
you're
believe I'm in
boxed
control
in.
of my future. No, because you're saying what I do
I
now.
believe that too. That's what I just said.
You just said what you do now will not impact the future. I believe what I do now will impact the future. That's what it breaks down to. That's where we're disagreeing. When you say nothing matters, I agree, bro. The physical objects of this world, how many houses you have, how much money you have, none of that matters. all the stuff that we have love for, affinity for materially goes away. It's only the emotional bonds that persist. So yes, nothing matters about the physical objects. I agree. Nothing matters. Anything you own doesn't matter. I agree with that 100%. It is liberating because once you realize that nothing you own matters, it's really just about the work and the impact you have in the world.
Nothing you do matters.
No, I disagree with that. I 100% disagree with that. Disagree with that. Yes. I would love to have this argument till the end of time with you.
In this material world,
yes,
nothing you do matters.
I disagree.
How? That's impossible. Because there could be 100 people that don't do shit. They're lazy, they're gluttonous. All they do is sit there, eat, collect money. But then there can be 10 people, and these, what I'm saying is all 110 people I'm talking about right now, they all have the same frame of thought that nothing matters. 100 of these people, because most of the time, people are going to take the easy way out. I believe this. So 100 of these people are going to take this frame of thought, nothing matters, so I'm going to sit back, relax, eat my food, and that's it. 10 people realize nothing in this world matters, so I'm going to go ahead and do something because I'm able to do it. I don't care about this gluttonous person. That's their prerogative. Whether they end up in heaven or not is not my deal. I don't care. I choose to do what I want to do.
That's the problem in America, is all of us just care about what we want to do. It's an individualism culture that promotes a lack of cultural unity. If you only care, I understand your perspectives, nothing matters.
Yeah,
sure, I understand. Okay, that's a perspective it's a wrong perspective to have, but it's
not though.
Because let's take the 100 people in your example. You said 100 people are lazy, right?
Yeah.
They're glutinous, whatever. They're just sitting on their couch watching Netflix or something like that, or watching Donald Trump videos and trying to do his impressions. Let's say they're just like
that's their whole life.
They're like, how do I perfect the They're just sitting in front of a couch.
Bro, that's an AI video right there. Have you seen all these crazy AI videos? Dude, that is hilarious.
They're just sitting there. How do I perfect the? Oh no. Nothing matters. If they're doing that, what society loses is, what if I turn the tables on that?
Yeah.
If those 100 people actually can feed homeless people, let's say, in a nice world, not perfect, but a nice world. Let's say those 100 people, 10 of them become amazing athletes. 10 of them become doctors. 10 of them become lawyers because they believe what they do now will impact the future.
Okay.
30 of them become nurses. The rest become teachers. I don't know. My point is, this belief that what I do now does not impact the future, when most people view life that way, it is not a freeing thing. It actually puts them in a prison because it does not incentivize them to do their maximum, to do something to the best of their ability. Because they're like, what I do now does not matter in the future, why do it anyways? Or why even give it my best? In my opinion, especially the youth.
Not everybody has the same mental strength. Not everybody has the same mental strength.
Agreed.
So, of course, bro, I'm not even going to speak. My whole point in this analogy was 10% of these people are going to do something great because they have strong mental strength. What I'm saying is nothing. Oh, man, dude, this is insane. It's like we're going in circles, dude. What?
The third person? Yes, you guys are going in circles.
No. I actually think it's, for somebody who's curious about nihilism, this is a good debate because these are the two viewpoints on this. Yeah. So go ahead, make your case. I'm listening. Take your time. No rush.
No, thanks. My case is your point of these guys, right? Of the 10 that become professional athletes, 10 become doctors, 10 become
I'm using your example,
homeless people, whatever.
Yeah.
That's not my example at all. So you took a different example, imposed it on my example. My example was all 110 people. They all have the same frame of thought. 100 people don't have the same mental strength. And so 100 people aren't going to do what the 10 people do because the 10 people are going to keep fighting. The 10 people are gonna make a difference, right? 10 people care about what happens to their family, right? That's my point. That's why nothing matters, because there's always going to be people that don't care. There's one Ibrahim Ahmed out of, say, 10 people, for example. You're the one that wants to go make a difference and go make a change, but 9 other people, they actually don't give a shit, bro. They just like complaining. So it doesn't matter whether they have this frame of thought of, let's go change the world, right? Because say all 10 of you guys did. There's another 90 people that don't have that frame of thought. That's just the way the world works.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
You're actually making now another argument about the fundamental premise of human nature. You're saying most humans don't care.
Most humans don't care enough. Yeah.
Most humans don't care enough.
Uh-huh.
Okay, we'll continue this another time.
Okay.
Because you have a customer. That you agree with
Most
that?
humans. Okay.
Your
Next
premise
episode,
is-
we're gonna talk about nihilism.
Your
Yeah.
human nature, your belief on human nature is most people don't care enough.
Yes.
And I disagree with that.
Okay.
Okay, so let's have a debate on that.
All right.